Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Dawntrail. In the last episode, we finished up in Urkopacha and headed back to Tural, where we rested up, had a little bit of a hangout with Wuklamat, and then rode a dirigible to our new destination of Yaktel and the town of Ikbrash, I think is what it's called. So we have arrived here, and we need to find the Elector and find out what the next feat's going to be. So that is kind of where we are at. So let's get started. All right, Wuklamat. Ready to head on in? Our first task should be finding the Elector. Hopefully our relative tardiness will not reflect poorly upon us. The third promise in a retinue, I presume. You presume right. I seek the Dawn Servant's Elector. Then come and join us in the Garden of the Stars at the village center. Everyone is waiting for you. Everyone? And who might that be? There is but one way to find out. Come, let us follow him. Oh, when they mean everyone, they mean everyone.
At last, we are graced by the presence of the third promise.
If I'd known we'd be waiting on your mangy hide, I wouldn't have bothered with Ligarmanda in the first place.
You self-serving piece of weaver dung! Do you have any idea how many could have been hurt?
Now that we are assembled, let us begin. My name is Hunmuruk. As Ibrash Rash, I have the honor of serving as Elector on behalf of my people. As all four claimants must be present for this feat, we have eagerly awaited your arrival.
So we've been making everyone wait while we were just hanging out and resting up in Tuliolo. Whoops.
Third promise. If you would please join us.
That we could have known. Yo.
Thus far, you have faced each other as rivals. The feat of repast, however, will test your cooperation. You must complete this challenge in teams of 2.
What? You expect us to work with one of these weaklings?
Be warned. Only the triumphant team will receive keystones. I advise you to cooperate with your partner. Teams will be decided by lots. Those who draw the same color will be paired accordingly.
Twelve forbid Wuklamat is paired with Bakul Jaja. After all he's put her through, I wouldn't blame her if she did something rash. I might even help.
Same.
Claimants, please present your colors. I have red. Blue. On separate teams, then. And the rest?
Red. Which means...
Together again, as fate would have it.
Well, that worked out.
victory's as good as ours.
With our claimants thus paired, so too is their opposition.
Not the one-head.
Listen well, for the trial that awaits you is as follows. Each team is to prepare a sample of traditional Shebrol cuisine. Shibruk Bibil.
So it's a cooking competition. All right.
And now we must cook. Another ludicrous feat.
So it might seem, but there's bound to be deeper meaning to it.
Agreed. Given that the very future of our nation is at stake, all parts of this rite must have significance.
Trying to get it?
Our promises have grown rather promising, wouldn't you say?
Indeed. If I were to guess at the significance of the feat, few things reflect the history and development of a culture so clearly as its culinary traditions.
The variety of stewed dishes in Garlean cuisine bespeaks their agricultural roots and cold climes, true.
The peoples we've met on our journey, they've all had different practices involving food and drink. The Hanu replenish their magical energies with reeds, while the Pelu have turned their fondness of beverages into a living. So basically, to know a people's cuisine is to know something of their ways.
With each feat, we have deepened our familiarity with a given community's history and culture. Is this what Father intended for us all along?
Mm-hmm.
But a leader with his vision must see that the past doesn't hold the answers we need. It is through embracing innovation, not adhering to tradition, that we will usher Tuli Yolal onto a more prosperous future.
Not quite there yet.
The rules are simple. The first team to prepare and partake of satisfactory Shibruk Bivir will be deemed victorious.
Oops.
Kitchens have been made available for your use. Note that you may be asked to retry should your dish fail to pass muster. Let the feat of repast begin.
Yeah, like those two are going to work together.
I've never actually heard of Shibruk Bibil before. What's it like, I wonder?
All right. Just for the dialogue, I accidentally skipped. This is a team. The first team to prepare and partake of satisfactory Shibruk Pibil will be deemed victorious. You'll be judged by your sample's taste and appearance as well as your adherence to appropriate cooking techniques. So, we need to gather some information. Alice? You suppose the first promise and Bakul Jaja will wear matching aprons? I dearly hope so. Alphino. The second promise will no doubt have thought how best to proceed. Let us ask for his perspective. Trial. Only 2 claimants can receive keystones from this feat. Intimidating perhaps, but irrelevant. We shall prevail. Aaronville. The first promise and Bakul Jaja are formidable on the field, but in the kitchen, I think the odds are in our favor. Uklamat. I consider myself a connoisseur of all things tasty and Turali, but this is the first I've heard of Shibruk Pibil. It must be significant in some way. Oriange. For the pairings to be thus decided, the stars aligned for us indeed. Yeah, because you're an astrologian. Thinkred. As much as I would have loved to defeat you all in a high-stakes culinary battle, I couldn't have asked for better allies. Alright, Kona. How fortunate that this feat's unique stipulations have frustrated Bakul Jaja's attempts to delay us. Serves him right. That's what he gets for endangering my people with his schemes. Why does he just compete fairly? He's plenty strong, and obviously has a mind for strategy, twisted though it may be. Never understand him. Putting aside our competition for the moment, allow me to express how glad I am for this opportunity to work together. As I see it, our team possesses a distinct advantage. Of course we do. Any team I'm on is bound to succeed. Precisely. You mean we have an advantage in numbers, yes? Our competition is a team of 6, the 2 claimants, Saril Jah and Bakul Jaja's lackeys. Whereas we are a team of 9, that's 3 more people we can mobilize. With the task suitably delegated, it should be a brisk affair to learn the recipe and assemble the necessary ingredients. Too easy. Well, we mustn't be overconfident, lest we make a careless mistake that could have been easily avoided. Our first order of business should be determining the recipe for Shibruk Pibil. We can hardly gather ingredients for a dish we know nothing about. Given the nature of this feat, asking for answers directly may prove less effective than simply observing the daily habits of the Jabral people. Let us gather here once we have seen what clues this village has to offer. Alright, let's go observe, shall we? We have colorful spices. A number of spices, some entirely unfamiliar to you, are nestled in a basket. That one's called achiote. We mostly use it to add a bit of color to our most popular cuisine, but its medicinal benefits are significant as well. Alright. We have a fastidious fellow over here. The recipe for Shibruk Pibil? I wish I could tell you, friend. A dish so delicious is meant to be shared. Alas, we are forbidden from divulging anything. Orders from Hunmuruk himself. When you're mentioning it, it has given me a fierce craving. I only hope there's still Ibruk to be had at market. Wink. So Ibruk is an ingredient. A hubago. We gotta cut our losses and head to Mamuk. This feat is nothing but a fool's errand. These are some of Bakul Jaja's lackeys. You're the fool if you think he won't tan our hides for leather if we dare to return without enough keystones. Besides, we've taken from the house cat before. How difficult could the second time be? What are you looking at, salt liquor? Mind your own business. A bright banana peel. A cheerful cook. Fire pits? An unusually colored banana peel has been neatly arranged on the ground, which appears to be smoking. So, bananas, these colorful bioluminescent bananas. Oh no, it appears I've gone and dropped my Jatika banana peel. I could barely see it for all the steam issuing from my underground oven. There's nothing like enjoying a tasty banana while you use the leaves in your cooking. So, an underground oven, banana leaves. Okay. You recall that's a technique used in Hawaiian cooking? If my memory serves me. Alright, let's report back. Sorry, I'm back. What did we discover about Shibruk Pibil? True to your prediction, the villagers were forbidden from educating us directly. However, many were still preparing it as one might a staple dish, and observation of their techniques yielded clues enough. A lady blending local herbs and spices was only too happy to describe the ones I didn't recognize, while neither confirming nor denying any relation to Shibruk Pibil. But one in particular she attributed to all common Chibral dishes. A tiote, she called it. I see. Then if Shibruk Pibil is indeed a dish as ubiquitous as Alphino claims, we have confirmed our first ingredient. Meanwhile, I did observe a cook burying bundles wrapped in the leaf of najul, or banana, in certain localities. It would seem the use of subterranean ovens is commonplace. I saw the same. I think we all know what's inside those bundles then, don't you? Ibruk, without a doubt. The squeaky flesh of a bipedal fish. Namazu. As would be expected of a dish called Shibruk Pibil, indeed. To summarize, the dish is one of Ibruk, flavored with a combination of spices that includes achiote, and steamed underground within najul or banana leaves. Given our assumptions are correct, we must now learn where and how to procure our ingredients. As a stable cuisine, its ingredients would be close at hand, which is why Thancred and I scouted the surrounding forests while you all were exploring the village. Between the local vegetation and wild Ibruk, we should have everything we need in regards to meat and spices. Leave it to a master gleaner. With that, we should next divvy up our tasks. While some gather ingredients, others should make ready the kitchen. I can help prepare the kitchen. Permit me to assist as well. Our ovens will doubtless require firewood, and I have some experience in its gathering. Sheesh, man. Still riding that horse. Alright. I too should be glad to volunteer my aid. Alright, and the rest of us will gather ingredients. I can make quick work of the spices and herbs myself. I'm happy to lead someone to suitable Ibruk if they will perform the requisite deed. Alize? As for the Najul leaves, I believe I am capable of acquiring that much on my own. Be warned, you won't find Najul in these parts. They only grow in the Jatika Heartland forests far below these. Such an excursion may be time-consuming. Perhaps I want to try bartering first? This feat encourages our communication with the locals, after all. Lamati, Ayame, if you would accompany me on my errand. No better way to whet my appetite. Good. Let us be about our tasks then. All right. Fauna. Lamachi had no specific task assigned to her, so I had her accompany me. No more, no less. Alright, come on. Let's go and get those nodule leaves. The sooner we do, the sooner we can eat. Alright. Interesting outfit. Just a second. Okay, just making some slight adjustments. Okay, Kona. Kona has a look of a man intent on finding bananas. That's a very specific look to have. Let us see if there are Najul leaves to be had in town. Perhaps the cook Oriange mentioned might be persuaded to spare us a few. Believe that's around here. Yep. Oh, hello again. Did you need something? We're looking for Najul leaves. Najul leaves? For purposes other than Shibaruk Pipil, naturally? Unfortunately, I've just used up my last. You'll have to travel to the lower forests for more. Golmajik Grove is a source of the finest Najul leaves you'll find. Wild variants you sometimes see in city markets can't compare. I see. I had hoped to avoid such a lengthy venture, but if there's no other way to obtain our ingredient, then to the Jatika Heartland we shall go. Allow me to save you the trip. Muruk. Traveling there requires that you go through the Tienbeck Traverse, but it has caved in due to the recent storm, I expect. What? That means we can't get our Najul leaves. But we can, can't we? If there were no other way of procuring them, you would have suspended this feat, or else altered its objective. Perhaps. Anyway, I apologize for the interruption, but having overheard a conversation, I felt compelled to chime in. That's very kind of you. Any last-minute advice you'd be willing to share? Only to undertake the feat of repast with an empty stomach. You may find Shibruk Bibil to be a delicious but daunting dish to finish. I can't wait. Oops. I accidentally clicked again. These feats are meant to deepen our understanding of the peoples and cultures of Tural. So perhaps there is something about Shibruk Bibil that we have yet to learn. Something of significance other than its recipe or ingredients. Oh, I see. Like, who was the first to make it? Its history, that sort of thing. If it's Yaktel's history you're interested in, you should start with the Old War. Between the Jabral and the Mamulja, right? These forests have borne witness to centuries of warfare, the evidence of which remains a scar upon the earth. To know the end of that bloodshed is to know Shibruk Bibil. Huh? What does Steam de Brook have to do with bloodshed? Other than the usual. Precisely the question we must answer. Vexing though such a detour may seem, I can think of no other way to approach this feat. In that case, you may wish to visit the site of a settlement ruined by the war, the village of Elon Asso. It lies a short distance to the east. The village of Elon Asso? Understood? Thank you for your help. Come, let us go and see this place. What was that, So if there are no leaves here, we can't travel for more. How are we supposed to gather all of our ingredients, right? Okay. Just a basic question. Okay, so we need to go... where? To the east. Which I need to work on doing the fates here so I can get my mount speed increase. I mean, it's close enough. Why not? The village of Elon Asso must be further east. Let us continue with haste. For all we know, our competitors may be on our heels. No time to deal with you. Exactly how far are we going? It's gonna be a while. Alright, I'll be back once we're there. Alright, and here we are. Kona. This place feels forgotten by time. Alright, Uklamat. So this is the village of Elon Aso, or what's left of it. It was a place of light and life. My great-grandfather called it home, in fact. Ah, Wukavu. Wukavu, I didn't know you were in Yaktal. I was picking up lumber from Ikbrash when I heard the third promise was on her way to this site of deep historical significance. I immediately saw another opportunity to be of service, and so I followed you here. Wukavu is a shipwright who came to our aid during the Feat of Reeds. A pleasure. You are a member of the Third Promise's retinue, I presume? For the moment, I suppose I am. My name is Kona. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Kona? Well, that's a good name. A familiar name. Where have I heard... Here we go. Kona, as in the second promise of Tuliolol? To think I addressed a Dawnservant's own son as some common retainer. Such disrespect cannot be excused. Please, take up your gun and... Oh, come on, not this again. I take no offense, so please do not dwell on it. Alright then, I shan't dwell on it. And right on cue. At least he's consistent. I understand you wish to learn about Shibruk Pipil. While I am forbidden by the Shibrash Rash to divulge any information regarding its preparation, I'll be happy to share what I know of Yaktel's history. We'd appreciate that. In its most basic sense, the conflict between the Shibral and Mamulja was one of land. The Mamulja live in the lower forest, where the thick canopy obscures the sun, and the soil is unforgiving to crops. This drove them to covet the upper forest, the home of the Shibral, and they launched a determined campaign to seize it for themselves. Yet advantage ever favors higher ground, and the Shibral forces held the upper hand against the invaders, rebuffing them time and again. But as the state of this village would attest, the tide eventually turned. What brought it about? Something you know all too well. Blessed siblings. You must understand, the Mamulja were once a people as much at war with themselves as they were with others. The Hubigo, Bunewa, and Dopro each sought to assert dominance over the others, even as they engaged the Shibral in battle. In an effort to strengthen bonds and discourage infighting, Hubigo and Bunewa leaders arranged a marriage between their children. However, this political measure altered the course of history in ways no one could ever have imagined. It was long believed that partners of differing clans could not have children together. But then it happened. A child arrived who shared the blood of Hubigo and Bunewa both, a two-headed Mamulja. Blessed with tremendous physical strength and magical prowess, he grew into a mighty warrior before eventually rising as the first Altarch, ruler of all three clans. Such qualities would dispose anyone to leadership, character notwithstanding. Under the Altarch's rule, the newly united Mamulja became a force to be feared, and the war soon came to a head. I think it best to see the results firsthand. Let us visit another battlefield from that time, and there I shall continue the tale. Alright then. Go have a look. Well, this forest has seen better days. Wuklomat? What happened here? Ona? By the 12. Alright. Okay.
This is where most battles were fought between the Shabral and Mamulja, the Shobrit Cinder Field.
A field of cinders, indeed. How fierce their clashes must have been.
The war over these lands began after the Yokui's departure some 500 years ago. And for 4 centuries thereafter, the two enemies repaid violence with violence. A constant stream of minor skirmishes, punctuated by massive slaughter.
Until Father ended their endless conflict 80 years ago.
Accompanied by a retinue of only 6, the Dawn Servant opposed both armies and brought the fighting to a standstill.
First they sealed Valley Armanda at full strength, and now this.
It was during this armistice that both sides gathered for negotiations at the Dawn Servant's behest.
We are being observed. And we're echoing off of it.
For too long, you have been bound by your ancestors' violent legacy. It is past time you broke free of it.
Tell that to the Scale Scum! We fight to protect what is rightfully ours! If not for their greed, we'd be living in peace!
Buff your tails and scurry off, then! Cowards like you ill-deserve the bounty of this forest. Even should one of you succeed in vanquishing the other, your triumph will last only until a new invader arrives. Tell me, do you know of the vast continent that lies far to the east, where numerous nations vie for dominance?
I think it was the first time we've heard the Head of Reason.
You do not. And why should you? Affairs beyond the salt we have no intention to cross are of no consequence to us. Not until those affairs come to Tural, like our honored visitor here.
He's from across the ocean.
I've been to the ocean before, and it's nothing but water farther than the eye can see. What sort of vessel could possibly reach its end? That such technology exists is indisputable, as is foreign powers' awareness of Tural. If any such country were to develop a taste for Turali soil and bring to bear the might of innovations we can only imagine, what do you suppose happens then? You do not know the warlords of the East, but you know that if they came, they would not settle for a single forest. By joining hands, we might create a unified front, an alliance capable of repelling them or any other foe. There is no greater proof of these than my companions and I. Alone we are weak, but together we triumphed over Valigarmanda.
What? You defeated the Sky Ruin? I'd take you for a liar if the sting of our own defeat wasn't still fresh.
See the female Vera over there?
Their coordination was indeed impressive. How the Pelu Pelu stymied our efforts to cripple the Yokui's legs and defend our ballistas.
Somebody's mother, I presume.
And when we withdrew to strike again from a distance, the Hanu Hanu called the winds to make our arrows miss their marks. In seeking to exploit their weaknesses, we only subjected ourselves to their strengths.
Those strengths are born of cooperation. The guiding principle of the nation we envision.
But our feud has lasted for centuries. How do you expect us to join hands now?
Ha ha! Give us an evening to convince you.
So who was that? Someone who was
And
there?
so began that legendary banquet. One would not expect sworn enemies to abruptly drink to each other's health, and, indeed, a tense silence hung over the venue. But then, the Dawn servant called for the exchange of traditional cuisine. So it was that the Mamulja partook of spiced meat, and the Chibral steamed najul. Before long, delight manifested upon the faces of those present, each side impressed by the other's dish. Seeing this, the Dawn servant laughed and declared once more, their flavors, he said, would be even better combined, and he proceeded to help them prepare the new creation.
That's Shibruk Pibil, I'd wager.
It is a marriage of Chibral and Mamulja cultures, and proof of their newfound cooperation. The Dawn servant had asked for a single evening, but the feasting is said to have lasted 3 days and 3 nights. So delicious was their repast. In the end, a peace accord was reached, and the Dawn servant's words at that time still illuminate our way forward.
Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship.
Sorry. It's just to think that he ended an age-old conflict with food. It's all so absurd. It's somehow so very papa, I couldn't help but laugh.
Well, any common ground you can find to start with.
Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship.
Now then, I trust you understand the significance of Shibruk Pibil and the history it has written.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing the story with us. What's wrong? someone was there, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps our competition is cooking up some scheme or another.
Something bitter and half-baked, no doubt.
Yep. Can't start reconciliation until you can at least establish something you can both agree on. Alright. Kona? I never imagined her father was instrumental to Shibruk Pibil's invention. And Wukavu? I hope I have been of sufficient service to the third promise. Absolutely. Alright. Wuklamat, Papa really did live up to his words. He traveled the land and learned about our people's myriad cultures. And we're doing the same now. Alright. New pants. Alright, Kona. Question marks. Interesting. Wukavu has given us valuable insight into the origins of Shibruk Pibil. However, we are still no closer to procuring the necessary Nandul leaves. Unless... Tell me, was that historic feast commemorated in some fashion? With a monument, for instance? Indeed it was. Allow me to show you. Alright, just nearby, it would seem. Diplomat. What does Kona want with a monument? And Kona? It's only speculation, but I dare to hope. Here it is. Offered up by the two factions, these weapons symbolize their vow that they would never again raise arms against each other. Since this feat demands a journey through history, I thought it only logical that... And I keep doing that. Hold on. I got two. This feat demands a journey through history. I thought it only logical that a monument like this might steer us true, especially one at the heart of so significant a battlefield. Lamati, Ayame, would you help me search this area for clues? Tell me if anything catches your eye. Sure thing. Look here, this soil has been recently overturned. Oh, someone buried a box. Well, well. I would have been satisfied to find only a hint, but here they are. Fresh Najul leaves. When Muruk's doing, I'd wager. There's a poetry in hiding them on this battlefield, given that it was central to the war they helped end. So he planned all this from the start. Thank you again, Wukavu. We wouldn't have found these leaves without your help. It was an honor to render assistance. And, with apologies to present company, allow me to offer my encouragement as well. Third promise. Ever since I witnessed your performance at the Feat of Reeds, I've been certain that you are the claimant most worthy of leading our nation. I'll devise solutions to the Hanohano's ailing crops, but you alone sought to know their culture and revive Ihihana, even if it seemed unrelated to your task. In my humble opinion, no one cares more for the people of Tuliolol and what they hold dear. Should you again require the historical musings of an old shipwright, I am ever at your service. For now, I take my leave. I cannot argue with that. Well, we have what we need. Let us return to Ikbrush. He's getting there. Alright. Back to Ikbrush. Alright. Don't we have side quests yet? No. Okay. Alright, but I think this is where we're going to go ahead and actually end the episode. So, next episode, I guess we'll be preparing the meal and seeing if we pass muster. Alright, but for now, we will stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.